Welcome, I'm Kinetic Symphony. This is Dave. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the supernatural. Case file number 1976, written by geeisntthree. In waves they come, acting so dumb. Before I get into the post, I'd like to say that I'm not just missing or imagining things. I'm constantly hyper-aware of my surroundings and pay attention to every little detail of whatever I'm focusing on. It's a bit of a curse and I wish I could turn it off. There are lots of things that I thought was some supernatural bullcrap before I thought or talked about it, and realized that it was just me mistaking something for something else or whatever. I've been working at a fast food chain for 2.5 years now, working part-time before I graduated and full-time now and during previous summers. I've seen a lot of things that absolutely do not make sense. I'm going to start with more minor things and work my way up to bigger things. Customers exclusively come in waves. The restaurant is right next to a busy major interstate freeway with a few casinos and malls around it. The traffic around our restaurant never stops. It's either a lot of cars or bumper-to-bumper cars out to the interstate. So you'd think that it'd be a random amount of customers depending on how much traffic there is. If only. Customers come in waves, usually 3 or 5 at a time. Outside of the early morning, it is never just one customer, unless it's one of our regulars. The NPCs, as some cynical Zoomers might say, come in waves, like it's a freaking Plant vs. Zombies game. I have a story about this one for sure. The customers that come in these waves are usually completely illogical, both in appearance and their actions. Think like an old white lady in the driver's seat, a 12-year-old in the passenger seat, and a middle-aged black dude in the back. Completely random selections of people every time, and they are never happy. No amount of good customer service will ever make them not irritated and passive-aggressive. Unless we are slammed with customers, I maintain good customer service and a cheery voice. I say hello when they get to the window and communicate with them and tell them to have a great day. Basically, I do a lot more than I have to, and more than most other fast food employees. Still, I'd say 9 out of 10 customers are entirely displeased with me at all times. Sometimes they will clearly go out of the way to piss me off. One of the oddest things that can happen is when they get lost. This usually happens in a rare occurrence when only one customer shows up. A customer gets up to the menu, irritatedly orders an expensive and complex order. I tell them to come to the second window, and then nothing. We have a CCTV camera routed to a monitor that lets us always see what's going on in the drive-thru. The drive-thru is enclosed with high curbs on both sides, and beyond that, there's a chain link fence on one side, either trees and shrubbery, or the restaurant itself on the other. You watch them pull up from the menu and further into the drive-thru, and then they just don't show up. If they backed out, I'd see them, and if I didn't see them, they'd hit the wait plate under the menu, and I'd get a beep on my headset. There's absolutely no way to get out of the drive-thru, short of driving by the window, or backing up, and we'd see or hear you backing up by the menu. This happens at least once a month. The customers act completely differently depending on who's working. It is absolutely bizarre, and everyone has noticed this. It is completely calibrated to piss whoever is on the headset off the most. I have learned to keep a cool and detached state of mind, so as to not get too mad or frustrated with the job. The more frustrated you get, the more you feed into the drive-thru things. There's a night manager who's worked there for 16 years with anger management issues that will actively make something to be pissed off about if there's any reason to be mad. When he comes into work, we immediately get swarmed by a constant barrage of angry customers the entire time he's there. Me and another manager who are in tune with all this spiritual bullcrap enjoy very quiet and relaxed days relative to what others go through, simply by working with the knowledge that our suffering and irritation is their goal. The other day, my parents called me to tell me my foster kitten had died, and as my mood went from good to bad, we immediately got swarmed with customers, for hours as I was choking back tears. They will change their demeanor, demographic, and orders to adapt to whoever is working. One time, my boyfriend was working the drive-thru late at night and a lady came through. Ordered a number 9 medium. Then immediately after, the same lady orders a number 9 small. As if it was the exact same voice clip, but with a different ending. At the window, it was the exact same lady, like complete doppelgangers. What made me really start losing it, and inspired me to write this all out, was when I started to count how many voices were there, ordering, and how many heads showed up to the window. Sometimes I'll get to the menu, and it's this cacophony of voices that I call the mumbles, that eventually focuses on one of the 20 different voices they'll use, or very clearly 2 people will order, or there will be others talking in the car, and only one person shows up to the window. Their behavior directly correlates with the Schumann resonance. I pay near constant attention to the Schumann, as it affects me very directly every day. When weird stuff happens with it, the customers start freaking out. All this nonsensical bullcrap gets turned up to 11 immediately. Sometimes I wonder if this is known by the people who run these franchises. We make more money, and they get more customers than any other restaurant this side of the state. Still, they constantly demand we cut employees. They never fix anything. They make nonsensical rules that seem to be maximized to cause us employees suffering. I think this place is a farm, and I'm not one of the farmers. It only makes logical sense under the framework of causing me and the other employees as much distress as possible to farm louche. Caissons from 1976. In waves they come, acting so dumb. So I had to look that up. I'd never heard of the Schumann resonance before, but it's a real phenomenon where the different electrical charges discharged static electricity in the air via lightning. The waves themselves generated in the air, well, they can interact, and that process does create a different vibration, a frequency in the atmosphere. Very interesting to read up on. Never occurred to me that was happening, and could that resonance have an impact on people? Maybe. Now, I don't think it could turn them into weird zombies that are controlled and sent to some random restaurant or chain to mess with the employees. That's strange, but then you do say that it corresponds with it, like different activity in the air. Do I ever notice that when there's lightning storms, a greater charge in the air, that people behave differently? I don't know. Have I? Haven't given that any thought at all, but I'll pay attention. Who's to say? I know I get excited when there's a lightning storms. Something about it is soothing to me, as long as there's no tornadoes or anything. And as long as you don't lose power, because that's just boring. Of all the lists of things that you describe happening that are strange, the strangest one by far is where someone orders food, is in the drive-thru, and then the car itself vanishes. How do you explain that? You have cameras everywhere. If someone's moving up or back, you would see it, and they just disappear. How do you explain that? They didn't drive through the shrubbery on one side, you would also see evidence of that happening. So, unless they flew up or teleported away, what would cause that? Is it a random space-time portal in the drive-thru of your restaurant? Who would put it there? Why? Why? It's always the question on my mind where these space-time portals come involved. Purely tests? I guess we'll never know, but maybe being around the space-time portal could impact the personalities of people as well. But I don't know what would cause people to come into a restaurant where the setup of the people in the car is completely random. This group of people that doesn't seem like they belong. I don't know. That's an oddity as well, for sure. Now time for the joke of the day. My brother had to quit his job as a weightlifter because he wasn't strong enough. He handed in his 2-week notice yesterday. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony, signing off.